Welcome to Audiobook 365 Stories.
They walked together along the wharf. She took his arm. He had her on his arm again. It felt so different to get into the taxi after Janey, to put the red and yellow blanket around both of them, to tell the driver to go fast because they had not had any tea. Now he wouldn't miss his tea or make it by himself. She was back. He looked at her, held her hand, and said softly in his special voice for her, "Happy to be home again, dearie?" She smiled. She didn't even answer, but slowly moved his hand away as they came to the brighter streets. "We have the best room in the hotel," he said. "I didn't want any other. And I asked the cleaning girl to make a little fire in case you felt cold. She is a kind and helpful girl. I thought now that we are here, we can stay tomorrow, look around the city, and leave the day after. Is that okay? There's no hurry, right? The children will see you soon enough. I thought a day of sightseeing might be a nice break in your trip, right, Janey?" "Did you get the tickets for the day after?" she asked. "Of course I did." He opened his coat and took out his fat wallet. "Here they are. I booked a first-class train to Cooktown. Look, Mr. and Mrs. John Hammond. I thought we should travel in comfort, and we don't want other people around us, do we? But if you want to stay here a bit longer—" "Oh, no," said Janey quickly. "No, I don't want that. So, the day after tomorrow then. And the children." But now they had reached the hotel. The manager stood at the wide, bright front door. He came down to welcome them. A hotel worker ran out to take their bags. "Well, Mr. Arnold, here is Mrs. Hammond at last." The manager walked with them through the hall and pressed the elevator button. Hammond saw his business friends sitting at small tables having drinks before dinner. But he didn't want to stop and talk. He didn't look at anyone. Let them think what they wanted. If they didn't understand, that was their problem. He stepped out of the elevator, unlocked their room, and took Janey inside. The door closed. Now, finally, they were alone. He turned on the light. The curtains were closed. The fire was burning. He threw his hat on the big bed and walked over to her. But can you believe it? Someone knocked again. This time it was the hotel worker with the bags. He made 2 trips, leaving the door open, moving slowly, and even whistling in the hallway. Hammond walked up and down the room, pulling off his gloves and scarf. Then he threw his coat on the bed. Finally, the man left. The door closed. Now they were alone. Hammond said, "I feel like I will never have you all to myself again. These annoying people. Janey." And he looked at her with red, excited eyes. "Let's eat dinner here. If we go to the restaurant, people will bother us. And there's that awful music, the music he liked so much and clapped for last night. We won't be able to talk. Let's eat here by the fire. It's too late for tea. I'll order a little supper. Do you like that idea?" "Yes, do it, darling," said Janey. "And while you're away, I'll read the letters from the children." "Oh, we can do that later," said Hammond. "But it would be nice to finish them first," said Janey. "And I'd have time to—" Oh, I don't need to go downstairs, said Hammond. I'll just call and give the order. You don't want me to leave you, right? Janey shook her head and smiled. But you're thinking about something else. You're worried, said Hammond. What is it? Come sit here. Come sit on my knee near the fire. I'll just take off my hat, said Janey, and she walked to the dressing table. Ah, she cried softly. What is it? Nothing, darling. I just found the children's letters. That's good. I'll read them later. No need to hurry now. She turned to him, holding the letters. She put them into her blouse. She said quickly and happily, Oh, this dressing table looks just like you.
Why?
What's wrong with it? Asked Hammond. If I saw it floating in space, I would say John, laughed Janey. She looked at the big bottle of hair oil, the basket bottle of perfume, 2 hairbrushes, and many new collars tied with pink ribbon. Is this all your luggage? Forget my luggage, said Hammond. But really, he liked that Janey was laughing at him. Let's talk. Let's be serious. Tell me. And as Janey sat on his knees, he leaned back and pulled her into the big, ugly chair. Tell me you are really happy to be back, Janey. Yes, darling, I am happy, she said. But when he held her, it felt like she might fly away. Hammond never really knew. He was never 100% sure that Janey was as happy as he was. How could he know for sure? Would he ever know? Would he always have this strong feeling, this painful wish, like hunger, to make Janey a part of himself so fully that no part of her could leave? He wanted to forget everyone and everything else. He wished now that he had turned off the light. Maybe that would make her feel closer. Then he heard the soft sound of the children's letters in her blouse. He felt like throwing them into the fire. Janey, he whispered. Yes, dear? She lay on his chest, but very lightly, as if far away. Their breathing went up and down together. Janey, what is it? Look at me, he whispered. A red color came to his forehead. Kiss me, Janey. You kiss me. He felt there was a tiny pause, just long enough to make him feel great pain, before her lips touched his. She kissed him firmly, softly, just like she always did. Her kiss felt like it was agreeing with what they were saying, like it was signing some kind of deal. But that was not what he wanted. That was not what he needed. Suddenly, he felt very tired. If you only knew, he said, opening his eyes, how hard today was. Waiting. I thought the boat would never arrive. We were standing there for so long. Why were you so late? She didn't answer. She was looking at the fire. The flames moved fast over the coal, then flickered and dropped. Are you asleep? Said Hammond, and he gently moved her up and down on his knee. No, she said. Then don't do that, dear. No, I was thinking. Actually, she said, one of the passengers died last night, a man. That's why we were late. We brought him with us. We didn't bury him at sea. So the ship's doctor and the doctor from land had to. What happened to him? Asked Hammond, feeling nervous. He didn't like hearing about death. He hated that this had happened. It felt strange, like he and Janey had walked past a funeral on their way to the hotel. "Oh, it wasn't anything that could spread to others," said Janey in a quiet voice. "It was his heart." She paused. "Poor man," she said. "He was quite young." She kept looking at the fire. "He died in my arms," said Janey. The shock hit Hammond so hard that he thought he would faint. He couldn't move. He couldn't breathe. It felt like all his strength was leaving him, flowing into the big dark chair. The chair held him tightly, like it wouldn't let go. "What?" he said in a dull voice. "What did you say?" "The end was very calm," Janey said softly. "He just," and Hammond saw her lift her soft hand, breathed his last breath. Then her hand dropped. "Who else was there?" Hammond asked, trying hard to speak. "No one. I was alone with him." "Oh, God!" What was she saying? What was she doing to him? This was too much. And still she spoke. "I saw that he was getting worse, and I sent the steward to get the doctor, but the doctor came too late. He couldn't have done anything anyway." "But why you?" cried Hammond. Then Janey turned quickly and looked closely at his face. "You don't mind, John, do you?" she asked. "You don't. This has nothing to do with you and me." Somehow, Hammond managed to smile a little. Somehow, he said in a shaky voice, "No, go on. I want to hear." "But John, my dear." "Tell me, Janey." "There's really not much to tell," she said, surprised. "He was one of the first-class passengers. I saw he was very sick when he got on the ship, but he looked better until yesterday. Then he had a strong attack in the afternoon, maybe from excitement or nervousness about arriving. After that, he never got better." "But why didn't the stewardess?" "Oh, my dear, the stewardess," said Janey. "How would he have felt if a stranger had come? And also, maybe he wanted to say something to—" "Didn't he?" asked Hammond quietly. "Didn't he say anything?" "No, darling, not a word." She softly shook her head. "All the time I stayed with him, he was too weak to even move a finger." Janey said nothing more, but her words were light, soft, and cold. They stayed in the air. They seemed to fall into Hammond's heart like cold snow. The fire was now red and low. Then it broke with a sharp sound. The room became colder. Cold slowly moved up his arms. The room felt huge, very big, and shiny. It filled his whole world. There was the large, dark bed, with his coat thrown across it like a man with no head, kneeling to pray. There were the suitcases, ready to be taken away again, anywhere, put on trains, carried onto boats. He was too weak to move even a finger. And still, he had died in Janey's arms. Janey, who had never in all these years, never even once. No, he must not think about it. To think about it would make him go mad. No, he would not face it. He could not take it. It hurt too much. Now Janey touched his tie with her fingers. She fixed the sides of the tie gently. "You're not sorry I told you, are you, John darling? It didn't make you sad? It didn't spoil our evening, our time together, just us two?" But after she said that, he had to hide his face. He put his face against her chest and held her in his arms. Spoil their evening. Spoil their being alone together. They would never truly be alone together again.